Hello and welcome to the Investing Bros. I'm T Shroom, and we've actually got some pretty exciting news here for Bitcoin from Wall Street. Eric Bokanis tweeted out this morning, just in, BlackRock updated its Bitcoin ETF prospectus with many new authorized participants, including first-timers Citadel, Goldman Sachs, UBS, and Citigroup. Takeaway: big-time firms now want a piece of the action and or are now okay being publicly associated with Bitcoin's ETF, spot ETF. So it's very big news there from Eric. Thank you so much for tweeting out, keeping us all updated. Guys, if you're not following Eric Bokanis on the Twitter, you're missing out. He definitely posts a lot of good stuff on there, and I do my best to bring to you what is going to matter to your crypto portfolio. He posts about a lot of ETFs, though, so not just crypto. It's all stock market wide. And if that wasn't bullish enough, folks, Wall Street didn't stop there. Yesterday, we got this one from Radar. The biggest banks are reaching out to Bitcoin miners directly to buy Bitcoin because the supply shortage on exchange. This is according to the CEO of Hut 8 Mining. So this is pretty big, right? If there's a low supply of something and the demand stays the same, that means that potentially the price will go up, right? The price will go up. Now, I'm seeing Crux of Crypto here in the chat saying, "Good morning, bros. You gotta love it. Had to skip my AM coffee today, unfortunately," said C90 FTW. That is not good. I've got my morning slurry here of energy drink and LaCroix. That's what I like to ingest here in the early morning. That's very, very fun. Shout out, said Dealy Crypto. Very nice. And French Toaster said, "I brought the coffee," and he did. He also brought the coffee emojis. I've got some interesting stuff to get into today. This is a tweet that I don't show very often, but it's one that I should show more often. It's from the Gold Prairie on Twitter. Now, as you can see here, there's a lot of bullishness in these texts here. November 13th, Bitcoin's price, November 13th. November 2013, Bitcoin price, 600. Right? November 2017, 6,000. Okay? November 2021, 60,000. Now, the question being asked here is November 2025, could we be at 600,000? November 2029, could we be at 6 million? Maybe. Gold Prairie says, but this isn't programmed. It's not just math, and it clearly won't make you wealthy. A little snarky sarcasm there from the Gold Prairie. We've heard a lot from Twitter this morning already. A lot of bullishness, a lot of excitement. Let's head over to a website that I kind of stopped using for a while. This is lookintobitcoin.com, but I still get emails from them because they gave me a premium membership, and I've been using it, and every once in a while I'll get emails kind of giving me notifications. Guys, this is the advanced NVT signal. And it's pretty cool. So what you can notice here is that the NVT signal is the light blue, and it's trading within a range of the red line and the red dotted line between these two, and the green dotted line and the green solid line. Okay, and you can kind of think of it as when the NVT signal, the blue line, gets down in between the dotted line and the green line. That is when you would want to accumulate, right? Historically, and then the black line is Bitcoin's price. Historically, when we get down into these levels here, you can kind of see that that is when Bitcoin is low and accumulation is happening. Well, let's zoom in on the present. Did you ever think that I would do that? That we would zoom in on potentially what this could mean for Bitcoin's price right now? How crazy! Yeah. As you can see, we are exiting kind of this line, this area. Right, we really exited, and we've been trading above it. Not trading because it's an NVT signal. It's not. Nobody's trading the signal. But ultimately, you can see we dip back down into it very briefly, and now we're back up above it. So this could be nothing because it's kind of playing that line. But it's good to be aware of. Now, T-Shroom, what is the NVT signal? What is it? Well, it's the network value. Okay, NVT signal equals network value divided by 90-day moving average of daily transaction value. Okay, and network value, you can just think market cap. Okay, so it's really cool. It's something that I don't look at very often, but I got an email alert about it this morning. So this could mean that it's, Bitcoin is exiting the oversold phase, an oversold zone, and it's starting to make a climb higher. And then historically, if we refresh this chart, historically, when this zone is exited, you can kind of take a screenshot here and go back and look at it for yourself. But when this zone is exited, there's quite a bit of move to the upside upon occasion, right? So not every time. It's definitely not every time. There's some times back here where it exited the zone, like here, right? And it did not go higher, right? It came back lower. So there's a lot to kind of pull out from that chart, but ultimately it's bullish, right? It's that your long patience is appreciated by Bitcoin and will be rewarded. Not financial advice. Ark Invest continues rebalancing, offloading 6.4 million worth of Coinbase shares. Nothing really to take out here. She's been doing this. Kathy Woods has been doing this over Ark Invest for a while, selling Coinbase. I'm not exactly sure why, but they've been doing a lot of. They were doing rotation into Robinhood stock, not stock through Robinhood, but the actual company's stock, Robinhood. And then it seemed like they kind of stopped doing that as well, and they've just been rotating into their own Bitcoin ETF, which makes sense because they want to be successful with that. Speaking of which, that's a good segue into our Dune segment here, where we'll cover the inflows and outflows. We got a positive inflow yesterday on the net, so that's good. And yeah, and you can see the purple histograms here are waning, right? So they're kind of coming down as grayscale selling is slowing for the week, right? But that's and you can see like this is pretty good. This is a pretty good selling level because it's lower than the previous 4 weeks, really. The highest histogram, I should say the lowest histogram is more favorable than the previous 4 weeks. So that's generally pretty good here. And as you can see, there's like basically consolidation here recently. Within the last 3 weeks, there's been consolidation. And you do see that here in the Bitcoin price, as we've seen consolidation here for the last little bit, really the last 3 weeks. So you can still really make the conclusion that Bitcoin is very much correlated with these ETF inflows and outflows. And as we approach the halving, which is very, very close, it's very close, folks. I don't remember if it's on this one. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's just a couple of days away. I think 15 days away now. Let's see. I don't know why I'm going to go to NiceHash, but yeah, this is where I'll go. It's like a mining website. So 15 days, 13 hours, and when 1 minute there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, got a Bitcoin market cap of 1.3. Just seeing what other information's on here. 83 level difficulty. Yeah, but the big one here, obviously, 15 days. And for UTC, it's April 21st. But of course, we're all crossing our fingers for it to be April 20th. 420. 420 Blaze It Bros, of course. Let's keep moving here. We've got a little bit of a swerve here into Ethereum. So let's take a pause and go back over to the charts. But before we do, let's see what's going on here. What is crack-a-lackin' down in the chat? We've got Susan saying, sorry, eh? Yes, this morning it appears I've got a little bit of a Canadian accent. I was watching a lot of Canadian entertainment last night. As it happens. It happens. It's the final countdown, says BitNado. Absolutely. We are getting close here. Drake Hobbs said, we all technically do not know when it will happen. That's correct. We do not know. It's still somewhat uncertain. Although, it's going to happen either on the 21st or the 20th. I guess there's a possibility they could happen on the 19th, but probably not. Dealy Crypto said, do you blaze T-Shroom? I blaze the trail of freedom, right? I feel that, what Tim and I do here at Investing Bros, we're blazing a trail for you all to try to deliver the best information that we can. Susan said she called that. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Crux of Crypto saying, you caught that also. I thought T-Shroom was from Canada for a second. From Canada, you say? Oh. Yeah, it's all very funny. It's all very funny to make fun of T-Shroom's chameleon accent of many different nationalities. That I am sorry. I don't know. If I offend you, I apologize, but kind of don't care. Ethereum poly market here still trending around a 19% chance that we are going to get that ETF approved. Still not zero, which is significant, but it's also not above 50, and it really needs to be 51% for me to start to even consider that it is going to be passed. But right now, it looks like the SEC is going to go ahead and reject that spot ETF for the American domestic markets. That is not good, right? That's not what we would want for Ethereum, but it's probably what we're going to get. So we have to brace ourselves. We have to brace for that reality. For me, I'm not changing anything. I'm holding on to the Ethereum I've got because I'm sure that it will be more valuable in the future than it is today. It may go down between the time that it is more valuable and today, but I'll keep holding, and likely I'll buy more. Now, why do I bring that up? Why do I bring up the poly market Ethereum news? Because we got this headline here. VanEck launches staking service for Ethereum-based exchange-traded notes. Just think ETFs. Let's take a look here at the information. VanEck has assured investors the simplicity of the process, stating that no additional steps are required on their part, I assume on investors' part, to benefit from staking. Once rewards are distributed, they will be reflected as part of the daily entitlement in the ETN's holdings. So that is really good for Ethereum. VanEck kind of joining the list alongside, in my mind, Fidelity, and I believe there was one other that was flirting with the staking aspect of the ETFs. So this is yet again bullish. You know, another major Wall Street operator kind of throwing their hat in the ring, kind of saying but not saying, I will be joining the lawsuit against the SEC when they inevitably reject the ETF for Ethereum in mid to late May. We will see what ends up happening with that. I think there's a chance, well, there's a 19% chance, like Vegas is saying, that it will get passed, that they'll come to their senses. And by they, I mean Gary Gensler and his crew over at the SEC. They'll come to their senses and say, okay, Ethereum has taken the adequate steps to be decentralized, and we deem it to be a security. But there's also a good chance, a better chance, according to Vegas, that they don't do that, and they're going to say, no, it's actually Ethereum is too much. There's too much of a spread between the spot price of Ethereum and the futures price of Ethereum, so we cannot authorize a spot ETF. I think, and then, apparently, according to Eric Blofin, right, this gentleman here, who we referenced at the beginning of the hour, that's his prediction of what the argument's going to be that the SEC is going to make, that they reject the Ethereum ETF. That's his prediction. I don't know that I agree or disagree with it. I think it's a pretty educated one, so I don't have any reason to really disagree. Oil prices soar amid Middle East tensions and supply disruptions. This isn't what you want to see in a world where inflation is getting a bit scary. Let's go ahead and check out the oil prices here. On the daily chart, you can see going back to 2024, this is the beginning of the year here, and you can see we are up quite a bit here. And I believe we wicked into 90 on some exchanges, clearly not here on the TVC. So that is going to be, in general, something that we need to continue to monitor from an inflation side, because oil prices are a huge component of inflation. If you have high oil prices, you're going to eventually get elevated inflation. That's just the long and the short. So not only the long, but also the short of it. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And so should you. You really should. And that's not going to just be for crypto. That's going to be for stocks. Now, let me break that down a little bit for some folks who may be newer to this. Right? How does oil impact crypto? Some of you are like rolling your eyes like, oh, T-Shroom, come on, really? Well, there's people who are newer to trading, newer to the economy, who may not know, right? There was a time when you didn't know. Now, it might have been when you were 4 years old sitting there playing with Legos, right? And then the next person to come in the room was a macroeconomic lecturer that your parents had hired because you're a trust fund baby. And that's okay. But there are people who do not yet know the connection between oil and cryptocurrency prices. It's really simple. There's an institution that has been authorized somehow by America to print money, right? And that is known as the Federal Reserve, headed up by Jerome Powell, who Caleb Franzen, who we have on every Wednesday, said that he would reelect if he was president. I think I would do the same. I would reelect him, and then I would shut down the Federal Reserve after I had it audited and proven to the people, hey, look, the Fed sucks and shouldn't exist, and we're going to institute Bitcoin as the legal tender, and I'm also president, so I'm going to do a couple of other things that I won't mention here. Okay, so getting back to it. So oil is the main component, is the lifeblood of the economy, right? Because every aspect of every business is probably doing something with oil. If it's not actually fueling a vehicle, it is probably a component of the plastics used to do something, some part of the process of the business operations, right? So it's no surprise that when the price of oil goes up, it becomes more expensive for businesses to operate, right? And that has a negative effect on the overall economy. Well, it also has an overall boosting effect on commodity prices, because if you're a farm, right? If you're a farm growing corn, growing rice, growing soy, growing cattle, all of the inputs into your operations are likely going to increase, and so that is going to trickle into your ultimate sell price that you're willing to sell your commodities for, your coin, your soil, whatever it's going to be, right? Whatever you sell to the market. Now, what the Federal Reserve tries to do is get ahead of that, right? And so they'd say, okay, if we think oil prices are going up, we think that inflation may start to peak back up, which is one of our mandates, then we're going to actually go ahead and we are going to keep interest rates where they are for longer than what we thought, right? And that would be because they're trying to keep inflation low. And that's what they're there for. That's what they're there to do, is to keep inflation low. Let's take a look at an inflation chart so you guys can get an idea of what I'm talking about here. But ultimately, oil, higher prices makes inflation go up. All right, this is what we saw here during the pandemic. Oil prices were a large component of why inflation shot up to 9.1%. They have since retraced, and so has the price of oil, retraced to the downside, right? If oil starts to tick back up past 90, past 95, into the 100, back into the hundreds, triple digits, oil prices, right, that is going to send inflation back up. And the Fed may not only have to pause for longer than they anticipated, they may even have to hike again. Now, I think that that's unlikely. I think that hiking again is probably not going to happen, given the turbulence we saw in the banking industry and the havoc that it reaped on the bond markets. But it is something to keep in mind. We've spent a lot of time here on oil prices. I hope that you guys got the download that you needed to understand it. What crypto are you buying, T-Shroom? What crypto are you buying to get rich, to get that Lambo, to get that mansion, to get that Gucci, Rolex, whatever you're going to get? First of all, I don't care about any of those things. It would be nice to have a private jet to be able to go wherever I want, whenever I want. But ultimately, what crypto are you buying, T-Shroom? Well, right now, I really like AVAX. I think AVAX is pretty underbought. I really like Chainlink. I like Cardano. And if you're just getting into crypto, you might be thinking, I've had Bitcoin for a little while. I feel comfortable with it. I feel like I understand how altcoins work in relation to Bitcoin. Then that's an appropriate time to start thinking about investing in altcoins, right? If you're only a month into owning Bitcoin, right, and you've just been working in insurance, you've been working in perhaps the oil industry, you've been a personal fitness trainer, what you should be thinking here is that you're not coming from a finance background, you're not coming from a risk management background, then you need to be very careful with what altcoins you're even considering buying, because Bitcoin is built different. It's built very different from even Ethereum. That's why we were talking about the Ethereum spot ETF not being accepted. Guys, the Bitcoin spot ETF was accepted, right? So there is a significant difference. And for noobs that are coming into the space, people, and I would say if you're only held Bitcoin for only a month, you are a noob, right? You really need to be careful with what altcoins you're buying. Even the ones that just came out of my mouth, right? Chainlink, Cardano, AVAX. These are altcoins that I've invested in, right? But it's after many months and years of understanding how blockchain works, what value it actually provides to people, societies, and cities, and servers, and other companies, right? You have to really understand all that before you start to invest a significant amount of money. Now, if you're talking about only 0.1% of your overall net worth, go wild. You want to trade the meme coins, do whatever you want, right? But I would be remiss if I was leading BROZ or soon to be BROZ into the slaughter of the crypto markets, because they are very, very volatile. They're very scary, and people lose a lot of money every single day trying to trade crypto or invest in crypto when they really don't have any business doing so. One of the major indicators of whether or not you have business doing so is how long you've been in crypto, how long you've held Bitcoin, and how many hours you've put into researching. Now, if you come from a finance background, you've traded stocks all your life for a family office, for Wall Street fund, for whatever, maybe you've done it yourself, you may start to understand. You can look at the charts and kind of see the different levels, the higher lows, and all of these types of things. You may be able to kind of run before others may be able to, while others are still walking, right? You can kind of read between the lines there. But those are some of the altcoins that I'm buying. Chainlink, AVAX. I'm continuing to DCA into Stacks and Render, Injective are some other coins that are looking really attractive today, because it is a red day, by the way, guys. It is a red day. I wouldn't call it blood in the streets. I mean, we're not really seeing we're not seeing double digits selling on everything. Jupiter's down double digits, but it was up yesterday pretty good. The whole market was up yesterday pretty good. Let's actually conclude today's stream with a look back here at the 1 month candles for Bitcoin. And if this isn't bullish, I don't know what is, right? We were able to close March in a green candle. Very, very good. April, red for now, but it's still very early days in April. My guess is that we're going to be making some pretty good support here, and then we will make a move higher and get yet another green candle out on the monthly chart. Now I'm here on the weekly chart, and you can see we're finding a decent amount of support here at 64,800, which correlates. This level correlates with this wick high here back in 2021, right? And then you'll see this level here, which we rejected off of on the weekly candle back here. That correlates with this wick high back in November 8th, 2021. Okay, so there's all kinds of ways to look at charts, folks. If you've been trading for a long time, I'm doing very, very rudimentary technical analysis here. I understand that. It's okay. Bear with me. Okay, so drilling in a little bit more here, getting into a little bit more of the charts, a little bit more depth. Guys, if you're looking for a lot more depth on the charts and insights on the charts, not just Bitcoin, there's a show that's about to start here in 5 minutes called Piper Academy. And I'm going to pull up what's called the Fibonacci Platinum Pocket here in just a second and show you guys that. And that is brought to you by none other than Army Piper, who showed me how to do this technical analysis maneuver. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump back into the charts. But Piper Academy will be starting here in just a few minutes. You guys can go check out that really cool channel that goes much more in depth on the charts. But taking a look here, this morning I was looking at it, and it looked like it was rejecting off of this uptrending line of resistance that was support. Back here we had a tap, back here we had a tap, and a tap here, and then we broke down. And then we found some nice uptrending line of support here, a new line of support, I would say. And we had a price exploration higher yesterday, and that really failed to even come back and test this line of resistance that we needed to really get back up above and print above. We did not do that. We had a wick all the way up to, it got as high as 69,400, call it. And now we are trading just above the midline of the Bollinger Band here on the 4-hour at 66,832 per Bitcoin, right? So it's just more consolidation. It's more sideways movement. If you take this line and you kill it, you can really kind of see you're basically in a symmetrical or slightly descending triangle. It kind of doesn't matter because both of those are bilateral patterns, right? They can break up or down, but they signal consolidation where the market is trying to figure out which direction it wants to go. Now with Bitcoin, there's a fair level of certainty that given that the halving is only 15 days away, that Bitcoin will be going higher, right? But Bitcoin has also been known to take a little bit of a correction just before the halving. The question is, was this the correction? Because from the highs, we did get as low as about 18%, call it, and we're currently down just shy of 10%, right? So was this the correction for the halving? It's possible. It is possible. But there's also some folks who are calling for Bitcoin to go ahead and have a little bit more of a dump ski and even put in a new low down at 58, right? A new local low, right? Obviously, Bitcoin's had lower than that. But so that's kind of the long and short there of the TA. We are getting some reminders here from Piper Academy. Thanks for the shout out, T-Shroom. We will be live soon, absolutely. So that's the channel that goes deeper into the charts. Tim will be putting out a video as well at noon. I don't know what coin he's going to be looking at, but it's going to be a juicy one. Yesterday he did a video on Jupiter, and not a lot of people tuned in for that one, but I think that there's a lot of alpha in this video. Go and check it out here. It's going to be good. I have not rotated yet into Jupiter. But today might not be a bad time because it has had this nice little 16% pullback. I think a lot of people are waiting because there's just not a lot of price data for Jupiter. It's a newer coin. But as far as Bitcoin goes, guys, I think it's just kind of in a holding pattern right now. I personally don't think we're going to see a sub 60 Bitcoin again, unless there's a major event, right? Unless Gary Gensler comes out and said, hey, those spot ETFs for Bitcoin, we're done with those. We're canceling them. Right? If there's some kind of crazy headline like that, then I do think we get a sub 60 Bitcoin. But I think that a lot of what we're seeing on the on-chain analysis, which we don't do a whole lot of here in Investing Bros, it's kind of indicating to me that there's just too many buyers at this level, but they're just waiting, right? They're waiting on some ultimately some kind of news from the Fed, news from the Federal Reserve to see how inflation goes. I think there's a jobs print later today, right? So there's some data that the market's kind of waiting on, and then we'll make a move higher. Also, there's a pretty big event that we've talked about 5 times now on the show. Oh wait, it's the Bitcoin halving, right? It's the point where they take a Bitcoin and they cut it in half, right? No, that's not what the Bitcoin is. That's not what the Bitcoin halving is. It's something a little bit different, but that's for another time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Investing Bros. I've been T-Shroom, and I will be live again at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like what I do here, you can find me yet again all over this channel. I've done all kinds of amazing videos that you all have loved, and I love to do it. If you're trading today, make sure to keep your stop losses tight, and if you're human today, make sure to stay hydrated. We'll see you at 3 p.m., bros.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots, stack bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.